What's going on? It's Rich Brecklin, your favorite Arizona real estate agent with Real Broker. Today's video, I'm going to talk about new construction right here in Phoenix Metro. And is it a better deal right now for the buyers? Is it a boom? Is it a bust? What is going to happen? And how are my clients taking advantage of new construction and what it looks like for them and possibly for you if you're looking to move to Arizona? But first things first, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. If you are a returning viewer, I truly appreciate the views, the comments, the calls, emails, everything when it comes to those who spend your time watching what I'm doing. Those who do know, former law enforcement for 13 plus years, been in real estate for over 10. My family and I relocated to Arizona from Illinois, and most of my clients are all relocation as well. So that's an area that I love to, focus on, and it's great to help others go through that same experience we did, and hopefully avoid some of those mistakes. But that's enough of that. So with new construction, right, there are a lot of things to consider. Now, the market has been extremely volatile, or it was up until May of 2022, and then we started seeing the high interest rates, and it pulled back a lot of that buyer demand, buyer confidence. It just wasn't there, and we saw prices start to plummet as well. Now, prior to this, if you were looking to get into a resale home, you were having to bid well above list price, forego inspections, appraisals, a lot of things. And if you're looking to buy new construction, well, you're not going to get any deals. A lot of times it was a lottery, and a lot of times the person who won lottery, well, it went to the person who was going to do the most percentage of upgrades to the home. So it was really difficult for a lot of buyers out there. And now fast forward into the fall of 2022, we saw that buyer confidence really low because rates jumped up, and there really was a huge amount of new homes on the market compared to what we were used to having. Now, fast forward to January, rates dropped down. We saw a ton more buyer interest and a lot more buyer confidence, a lot more contracts on the market. However, prior to that, we saw builders, like they had all these homes, a lot of cancellations, and they wanted to get these homes off their books. And we're still seeing some of that and some of the incentives. And that's what I want to talk about, the incentives. So in January, interest rates dropped down, a lot more contracts, a lot more homes under contract, and homes were selling. We also saw a little bit more inventory as sellers got comfortable with the lower rates, but still far below of what we should be. Actually, is a 25% drop in new listings and listings on the market compared to what it was in the fall. Now, still above where we were, 18, 24 months ago, but below normal. And now in February, rates have gone up again. So we're starting to see that buyer pullback. But we're also seeing seller pullback because they don't want to list their homes, trade in their low rate for a high rate. So what do you do if you're a buyer? One, there's not as many homes out there. And maybe if it's a great home, there might be some competing offers. And maybe if you're financing, you don't want to pay over 6% for a rate, 6.5, 6.75, whatever it is by the time you're watching this video, and depending on the factors of your finance situation. So with a lot of builders, they are offering some great incentives. Now, it varies from builder to builder. However, I have a client under contract right now with Taylor Morrison, beautiful home, and they have some great incentives. Now, this isn't a video for Taylor Morrison, even though they're great to work with, but we got this home for $40,000 off of what they wanted and a 4% concession back to my buyer so they can use that to buy down the rate. Now we're seeing more of that from other builders as well. So that is a huge pro. So yeah, say the rate's 6.5. Well, now you can use that 4%, $20,000 to buy that rate down. Either buy it down for the life of the loan or do a temporary buy down with the hopes and plans of refinancing later. And that's something you're gonna have to determine, talk to the lender of what that looks like for the future. I can't predict where rates are gonna be in 2 years, and neither can anyone else. So if anyone tells you here's what rates are going to be in 2 years, run, because they're full of it. And another instance is I have buyers with Toll Brothers, just went under contract a week ago, and Toll Brothers is offering some great incentives. Matter of fact, I just got an email from Toll Brothers, and they were talking about all their incentives. I mean, incentives for lending, incentives off the price of the home. They even have something, if you're looking to relocate to Arizona, they will reimburse you up to $2,000 for your flight and travel if you end up buying one of their homes. Now, there is some fine print to that. And if you're flying internationally and relocating to Arizona, they will give you up to $4,000. So not only are they giving off of the price of the home, lending incentives if you use a builder's lender, but they're also paying you to move here from wherever it is you're coming from. So not a bad deal. And I was just at, I believe it was Lennar. So I was at Lennar and KB Homes over the week. And Lennar is offering, if you buy, depending on when the home is completed, but you can get locked in at a 4.99% rate. So almost 2% lower than where the current rate is. And they're still offering 3% concession, 3% or 10,000. I can't remember what it was, but still giving you another concession on top of that. So you can buy the rate down further, use it for closing costs. So that's less money out of pocket. However, it is not all lenders are like this. As I was speaking to builder, I was speaking to another builder, and they were having a meeting, and they usually do their price increases on Wednesdays for this particular builder, and they're talking about raising prices again. So yes, we are seeing incentives, but the builders, they're paying attention. Obviously, they're watching their books closer than anyone. So they understand that the demand is coming back, especially if they can use these finance incentives. However, when they're seeing these homes come off the market and off their books and under contract, they understand demand is back. So they're talking about raising prices. Now, again, that varies from builder to builder. Some builders were able to get lot premiums removed or at least knocked down some, and some are getting great price decreases. And some, they know what they have. They know what they're seeing in their own communities, and they're not doing anything. I will say for the builders I've been to over the last few weeks, I have another YouTube channel where I just do new home construction tours. And I'm seeing more and more people in the offices talking to the sales rep there more than I was, 2 months ago. So we're starting to see more people interested in these new build communities. One, it's a new home. They're usually newer communities, and you can have some great selections, but also because of the incentives. So it just makes sense if someone, isn't too particular, I guess, on new build versus resale, but they're seeing that rate and the incentives that come with it for those buyers and for the buyers I'm working with, it just makes sense. And this isn't just entry-level homes either. These are homes up to, the 7-figure mark. So depending on what it is you're looking for and where you want to be, some of these new build communities may be, areas you want to explore. And if you want those lists and want to see some of the great incentives out there, send me an email or a direct message or phone call, and then I'll help point you in the right direction and get those lists sent over to you. And that way we can see and explore what makes sense. Because what you see online, things change so fast. They're not updating as fast. And having those relationships with the sales reps really helps my clients because we can get in front of it before everyone else does and make sure you are taken care of. Now, we were in a crazy seller's market. Everyone knows that. And then we dropped down to a buyer's market, which people were freaking out, but really it just felt normal to me, who's been in the business for a while. But nonetheless, it felt like a strong buyer's market just because of the crazy amount of inventory, which wasn't even crazy, but it was just the huge rush of it. And then we pulled back with inventory, and now it's gone to a seller's market in some areas. Now, remember, the Cromford Index, 100, at 100, you are at a balanced market. At one point, we were well above 300 in the Cromford Index. And then during a few months ago, we were down under 90. Now, currently, we're at 124. So judging by that scale, we are technically in a seller's market here in Phoenix Metro. However, I'm describing it as an aggressive balance market. So yes, it's just, and the numbers may say sellers. Some people think it's buyers. Some people are still saying it's going to crash. I really don't see any indication of that, but time will tell. We'll see what rates do. We'll see what mortgage-backed securities do. We'll see just, again, all these leading and lagging indicators. But I know boots on the ground, what I'm experiencing with my clients, if there's a home that is priced right, in good condition, then it is going. So that is what is leading people to some of these new builds, these spec homes, we want to call them, quick move-ins. That way you can get great incentives and get into a home without paying a crazy high interest rate, which Depends on how long you've been on this earth, if that's crazy high or not. So if you're looking to make the move to Phoenix Metro and you like this video, watch the next one or reach out. My contact info is below. It's Rich, Brecklin Real Broker, and I'll see you on the next one.